Caught on camera, moments you were never supposed to witness. From a devastating tsunami in Canada to an unsung hero without a cape, welcome to Absoulte Facts. These are 7 extreme events that will leave you speechless. Number 7. The battery that almost blew up a building. Shanghai, China, home to nearly 29 million people and an uncountable number of batteries. But what happens when one of those batteries turns into a ticking time bomb? On September 22, 2021, an office cleaner was doing her usual rounds when she spotted an old battery storage box. Thinking it was trash, she placed it by the door. But something about that box kept pulling her attention back. She didn't know it yet, but that box was seconds away from exploding. Smoke began leaking out. Panicked, she rushed toward the fire extinguisher, but the box was jammed. She had no choice but to run. Just seconds after she got out, boom, the battery exploded. The room filled with smoke, and the battery kept detonating until all that was left was a puddle of melted plastic and acid. By the time firefighters arrived, the office sprinkler system had already kicked in. What caused it? A terrifying chain reaction known as thermal runaway, when electrical currents make a battery heat up uncontrollably, catch fire, and explode. And to think, it was almost just another regular day at the office. Number 6. Midnight elephant break-in, caught on camera. Imagine it's 3 a.m. You're asleep. Everything's quiet. Then, crash! Something smashes through your kitchen wall. That's exactly what happened to Samuel Babo on the night of June 26, 2022, in Tamil Nadu, a state in southern India with over 80 million people and about 2,800 elephants roaming nearby. Earlier that evening, Samuel had left some oil cakes on the kitchen counter, food meant for his cows. But someone else had their eye on them. Samuel rushed downstairs after the crash and froze. An elephant's trunk was reaching into his kitchen. It knocked over pots, pans, and anything in its way, sniffing around like it knew exactly what it wanted. Then, the elephant pushed harder, making the hole in the wall even bigger to get a better look. Security cameras outside caught the unbelievable moment, the elephant grabbing a bag of flour or rice, trying to eat it, but spilling it all over the floor like a confused, hungry giant. By the time the chaos was over, Samuel's kitchen was destroyed. Number 5. Canada's quiet town swallowed by the sea. You don't expect hurricanes in Canada, but in September 2022, Eastern Canada learned just how wrong that assumption can be. Hurricane Fiona, a monstrous Category 4 storm, slammed into the coast with a fury locals had never seen before. In the quiet town of Porto Basques, security cameras captured the unthinkable. Tsunami-like waves crashing through neighborhoods, ripping houses from their very foundations. One by one, homes were dragged into the sea, swallowed whole by the storm's wrath. In total, Fiona's storm surge destroyed over 100 homes in the area. Entire communities were left in pieces. And the devastation didn't end when the water receded. A year later, residents faced heartbreaking decisions: rebuild from rubble or walk away forever. Some moved to higher ground, others never came back. Because this wasn't just a storm, it was a brutal reminder that no place is truly safe when nature decides to strike. Number 4. When a crane turned a transit center into a danger zone. On July 8, 2015, the people of Escondido, California, were about to witness a freak accident that no one saw coming. Located just 48 kilometers from San Diego, Escondido's transit center is usually a calm spot, whether you're catching a train or driving along the I-15. But that day, it became a construction zone full of chaos. A crane crew had arrived to remove a massive eucalyptus tree outside the transit hub. Everything was going to plan, until suddenly the crane truck began to lift off the ground. Then it happened. The tree fell unexpectedly, and within seconds, 2 workers ran straight into the path of a moving bus. Why were they running? Because the 230-kilogram counterweight the one connecting the crane arm to the tree, had launched into the air like a flying wrecking ball. It slammed into the pavement, nearly 15 meters from the bus, barely missing anyone. Fortunately, no one was injured. But in that moment, survival meant one thing: run first, ask questions later. Number 3. The stranger who saved 4 children from a burning home. In the quiet town of Redo, Iowa, with just 5,000 residents, one man's wrong turn became the reason 4 children are still alive today. It was around 2 a.m. on November 1st, 2022, when Brendan Bird accidentally turned onto Prospect Street, trying to find a friend's house. But what he found instead was fire. A house had just caught ablaze, and the front porch was already in flames. Without hesitation, Brendan jumped out of his car, called 911, and stared at the growing fire, realizing someone could be trapped inside. Unbeknownst to him, 4 siblings were asleep inside. Their mother was out of town for a family emergency, and their father was working the night shift. Brendan didn't know how many people were inside, or how young they were, but he refused to stand by. He ran to the windows and began banging loudly, trying to wake anyone he could. Moments later, the children escaped, just seconds before the fire spread further. Their oldest brother rushed out shortly after, all of them unharmed. Brendan didn't stop there. He stayed with the family for 3 hours, making sure they were safe and comforted in the middle of the chaos. In a world full of noise, his quiet act of courage speaks volumes. Sometimes, heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes, they just make a wrong turn at the right time. Number 2. When a rooftop pool crashed into a parking garage. Vila Velha, a luxury resort city on Brazil's coast, is known for its beaches, upscale buildings, and high-end living. But on the night of April 22nd, 2021, paradise nearly turned into panic. Residents of a beachfront high-rise had been complaining about a strange smell coming from the rooftop pool, a gas-like odor that only appeared when the heated pool was running at full power. No one knew what was causing it, until everything collapsed. At 10 p.m., a loud, thunderous noise echoed through the building. The entire pool floor gave out, sending a massive surge of water crashing down into the parking garage below, flooding the entire first level. In an instant, luxury turned to chaos. Emergency crews arrived quickly, evacuating 270 residents and placing them in nearby hotels, all expenses covered. While the guests were relocated, engineers rushed to inspect the structure for signs of a deeper collapse. For days, no one knew if the building itself would hold. Number 1. The officer who charged into a tornado to save his best friend. On January 24, 2023, as a tornado wrapped in heavy rain tore through Deer Park, Texas, most people were running for cover. But Officer John Mann was running straight into the storm, not out of duty, but out of love. Moments earlier, he had taken shelter inside the police station when he realized something that made his heart drop. His canine partner, Ronnie, was still locked in the patrol car outside. Without thinking twice, John Mann sprinted back into the chaos. Wind roared around him, rain slammed down so hard he could barely see, and debris whipped through the air. Another officer rushed inside while John Mann reached the vehicle. He flung open the door, grabbed Ronnie, and turned to open the opposite side, just as a massive tree behind him looked seconds from snapping in half. The two barely made it back to safety. No injuries, just a bond that had proven itself unbreakable. John Mann later said, "He's part of our family, and there was no way I was going to leave him like that."